Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. I got a comment there from Jeffrey Rosenthal, sorry if I say your name wrong, and Gutter Clown, and they told me to check out this app right here, LARA Automotive Lock Aid. So I had a bit of a look. It's made by this guy here, Tony Steward, and when I was looking, he actually had quite a few little applications there, so hopefully I'll get to look over a few of them. Unfortunately, I've got to purchase them each and every time, so I'm going to do that and have a look over. A lot of the other apps we've been looking at basically are only set up for particular companies to sell their particular wares. There was another one I found the other day that was quite knowledgeable as well, but wasn't quite designed for the Australian market. So this one here is made by an Australian and should be more relevant to the Australian market, so I'm going to go through and have a look. I've been told there's quite a lot of good information and things in it. I have no affiliation to them. I know nothing about this app, so I'm just pretty much going to load it and take you through a run through, and hopefully it'll be something good that us locksmiths can use. Now, he does have some other apps here which I'll hopefully be able to go over as well. I was reading through a little bit about them: Inline Pinner for Android, Job Tracker, Legard Editor, Safe Code Assist, Xcodes. So some of them might be relevant for you, some of them might not. There's his picture up there. Hello, Tony. And I was reading through his CV, and I might have actually worked with him a couple of days on a job out there, going back about 15 years. I think it was him. We were working at the same place, and I think I was installing mortise locks by hand at a primary school in Curry. Yeah, I was briefly working at the same place that he was working at. So I think that's him. Could be, may not be, but I don't really know him. Another resource down here is Locksmith Trader, run by a bloke called Eric. Good bloke, good place to sell locksmith tools to locksmiths, parts that other locksmiths might want, and also that he has a forum there that's a bit of a help guide as well if you want to get into the forums and you've got questions that you want other locksmiths to sort of help you out with. Alright, so let's get into it. Here's the LARA Automotive Lock Aid. Alright, so there it is there. I'm going to start installing it. It's downloading. Hopefully that won't take too long. And we're done. Let's open it up and see what we got here. Open. I don't know why it wants to make phone calls. Use database. Current database. Download new version. Yes. Okay, so there has been some updates. I did look at the website, and it did say that there was a few updates that he had done there, and you got to have the latest update because all the little bugs and things are fixed along the way. All right, so what do we see now? Okay, don't know what this icon is. Let's have a look. Okay, tool. So there are your key blanks. Okay, so it looks like you can select which decoder or Lishy tool that you have, and it might just give you information on the tools that you have as to not block up the screen with useless information if you don't have that tool. So perhaps it's a bit like Silka and Keyline. When you're looking at one like Instacode, you select which keys you use, so that way it can display it without displaying everything else, I'm assuming. Alright, so let's go back. Okay, so let's go now to the car section. Okay, we have a full list of cars. We're going to have to pick a few examples here to kind of get to know it. Let's start with Holden, which is an Australian-based type of vehicle. Let's go something which only we have in Australia, which is, let's say, VE Commodore. Not subscribe. Particular is a plus feature. Okay. Ooh. Wants more money. Okay. I'm only here just having a look, but I'm not sure if I want to subscribe just yet. So let's see if we can try an older one. Okay. We're going to need to subscribe for that as well. Okay, can we get any cars here for free? Not subscribed. No. Okay, Citroen, Blingo. Okay, so to get to the car database, looks like it's a subscription, $49 per year. Okay, so I've pushed the menu button. I'll go back here. So the first one seems to be some sort of settings and decoders. Second one here seems to be the car database, which is an add-on feature. Unfortunately, it's not going to work for me because I haven't paid the money for the add-on, which is $49 per year. So let's have a look at what else this app does have. Key codes online. Subscription not active. Feature. Okay, let's see what that costs. Okay, so after free trial, it's $49. Okay, so I can get a free trial for this. That might be the same as the cars as well. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, now let's try that again. Let's pick a hard one like we did on the last one here, and let's pick BMW X5. Okay. Okay, so we're not available yet for that. Okay, your item will be available in a few minutes. Okay, so let's give it a few minutes. Pincode Calculator, let's have a look. Okay, so we've got Nissan 5-digit, Chrysler Type 1, Nissan digit hex, or Chrysler, okay, new and old. So there's a couple there. Diagnostic trouble code, fault code, airbag, fuel. Okay. So this is if you get a diagnostics code from one of your machines, you can put it in there, and that can tell you what roughly is going on. A lot of programmers, especially the cheap ones, you plug it in, it gives you this funny code. That's what that's all about, and not a bad tool actually for that function. That's something a lot of other ones don't have. Timer, countdown timer. Okay, so we can move that up, we can move that down. That's not a bad little thing to have. A lot of other apps I haven't seen have that, and that's good if you've got a 10-minute lockout or a 15-minute lockout on your vehicle. A lot of vehicles kind of do have that. I know the Fords have that. Even though you're programming, you pretty much got to, before you start programming, put a jump pack on it and know that you're going to be having to do a 10-minute wait, because that works like a security thing. Settings, online data, show key blanks, lock codes, fill, Dropbox, key machine defaults, username, password. Okay. Backup, restore, plus, about, help, video files, Facebook. Instructions, VCode demos, setting demos. Let's look at VCode. So these are videos. Oh, it's flipped my screen around. So this is on YouTube too. It's you can search for this by, what was the name on it? LARA vehicle demo. Okay, back again. So I found out what the problem was. After I had purchased the subscription, I actually needed to get out of the program and restart it up again, and it seems to work just fine from there. So now we're in business. So let's go to our apps, pick LARA icon. It's loading, and the icons turn up better. That's cool. Anything more? No. Up and down. Down the bottom you can see loyalty points, so it seems like perhaps there's some sort of thing where you can comment or help each other out. We'll find out as we go. View tools, is that going to be the same now? Okay. Select all the type tools you have. Yes, seems to be the same. Car vehicles. Now we're going to see what it's all about. So let's look at a particular difficult one, an X5 early model. Now this is one that you've got to pull out the box and find the chip and all the rest. Okay, so we have our key blanks as well. You can select the key blanks that suit you. I just had Silka and JMA. So there's our keyblade. Wiki, a link to Wiki X5, so if you're not sure what the vehicle is, you can go there to Wiki and they'll show you exactly what the vehicle looks like and more about it. The code series, the range, space and depth, how many spaces, how many depths, and more code series, more code series. Can we find a code from there? Oh, looks like we can. Okay, let's try that. So there's our code search. there's the bidding. Okay. Silka, card number, Instacode, card number, HPC, no card. Well, can't do it on a HPC, that's why. Okay, so it was able to find a code for it, and it was telling us code ranges we were looking for, so that's cool. And let's move down, see what else it has. Front right-hand door unlocks clockwise. Okay, leave feedback. This vehicle has deadlocking. Left door, right door, boot release. Hide your username. Okay, so you can contribute to other locksmiths and leave a comment. So this is good when one locksmith finds something out, a little trick, and it can save other locksmiths a lot of time. If we share these little tricks, it makes things so much easier, especially when you're passing information on to people who haven't been doing it as long as you have, or would struggle to find that little piece of information. So knowing how to unlock a door, or knowing how to pull a door lock out, or the best way to pull a door lock out, can save a lot of time. So it looks like you can leave comments there, which is really good, and that must be what that loyalty point is about. So from what I can see, transponders. Okay, so a picture of a key, leave feedback along the way. So very similar to that other app we looked at, but more based on Australian cars. Remotes, please send us any tips. I believe it is you turn the ignition on and you push the button 3 or 4 times, directing it to the rear view mirror, I believe, on this particular car. So maybe there's one I'll be passing on once I double check it. Parts, no parts. Notes, no notes. Now this is a particularly hard example, so I wouldn't be expecting to see a lot of information on it. It's one that a lot of people kind of don't do because it's a little bit harder than just plugging in with your advanced diagnostics tool. So let's look at something where you would just plug in and it would be a straightforward walkthrough, make a key and then program it. So we did Mitsubishi on the other one, so I think that's only fair that we look at Mitsubishi once again. Mitsubishi, and we're just going to go for a Lancer of some description, CH. Okay, so there's the key blank. There's the picture of the key blank, the way the door opens, the code series. So we'll test that, see if we can pull up a code from there. Just put in an example here. 30101. Search. Okay, we got our bidding. And because it is a double-sided key, we should be able to do it on the HPC. Yes, we've got a card number. The Freeman, yes, we've got a card number. We've also got the space and depth information down below, so if you're using some other type of machine where you can actually plot it in, that's fine. If you don't have a card for the HPC, using this information, you can use some of those white cards that come with your HPC, and you can actually do it that way. Okay, that's cool. So we can even do a code, wafer positions, so we know that the ignition has 1 to 8, the door has 1 to 8, the boot has 1 to 8. So in this particular scenario, it might be easy to just pull out a boot lock. Sometimes it is easier than pulling off a door trim. You can actually get to the boot lock a little bit easier, and it's got 1 to 8 cuts in it, so we know it's going to work the ignition. So that's what that information's about, and that's helpful. Transponder, here we go. So the key blank, including the transponder, type of chip, 4D61 or a T19 in Silka terms. It's clonable, it's reusable. You need a minimum of one key to program the car and a maximum of 8. It has a default PIN number, which we got from that other app as well last week, 7315. Advanced diagnostics, it's showing us the cables you can use for the MVP and AD100, dongle A, and for the SBB 00. Errors, sometimes when you might get errors, and 25-minute wait. So if you try and do things wrongly and you're going to get locked out for 25 minutes, that's where that timer kicks in. That timer just there. We could go 25 and we could start it. So that would be fairly accurate, and at least that way it's all on the one sort of app. Maybe it'll give you a bells and whistles, I'm not sure. Actually, why don't we try it? Timer. See what happens in a minute. Is it going to wake me up if I decide to have a little nap? We don't know. Okay, remotes. Okay, remote programming, OBD port there, and ensure it all Earther Terminal 1. Okay, so it's telling us to Earther Terminal, showing us the OBD port. Alternative methods using the MVP. User feedback, we've got some feedback here. Software Thailand. Okay, so it's good because a lot of people are able to leave comments. You've even got a little rating on the side, very similar to the other one, and most of all, it's actually based for Australian vehicles. So that trumps that other software that we looked at, which I found extremely good. But this is actually dedicated for our neck of the woods, so it's better for that reason. Feedback, OBD, notes. Okay, so that should be fairly much all. Oh, it did. It gave me a little noise. Okay, so it does. So that's a cool little function. All right, so cars. Yes, it has. It has all the cars. Has all the cars. Has the codes. Not too many imports there, but it has everything else. Let's look at a Nissan Pulsar. Okay, so it says here that a Pincode Calculator is available for this particular model. Actually, there's one, Hyundai. That's one that is worth a look. Hyundai. That will need a pin. Let's look up iLoad, which a lot of us drive. Checking for feedback. Okay, key, code, drive or door lock, making a key, information on making a key. Cool. If you don't have a issue, then pull the lock and the rear tailgate. Good information. Radio code, feedback. Okay, transponder, minimum maximum keys, CAN system, chip, dongle. Okay, Smart Pro would not read pin. Okay, so there's some interesting information. Okay, and the pin number does not work. The last six digits of the pin number does not work on this particular model. Only worked up to I think it was 2007. I think it was something along those lines. Okay, some feedback. Alright, so quick overview and quick opinion of this. Yeah, it's a handy tool. Is it better than the last one we looked at? I would say yes, because it's designed for Australian makes and models. A few extra features it has which some of the other apps didn't have, and which makes it a useful tool. It also integrates with other locksmiths, so we can all share information. So that's an absolute bonus in that regard, because there's no point having apps that you're not finding out the most relevant information and people aren't adding to. If people are adding to it, it becomes a bigger and bigger resource that's actually more accurate. Things change as well. One moment a Pincode Calculator might work, or there might be an update, or something might change. So it's always good to have accurate information. And if one person is on a job or can't complete the job for some reason, or something didn't work, if they list it there, the next locksmith's going to be able to not go out there and make that same mistake. So yeah, it's good in the sense of people being able to contribute. It's good in the information it gives. It also has that code section there, so all the cars you're looking up, you actually can look up the code when you find the code, which is a lot easier than pulling up Instacode and having to pay a subscription for Instacode on your actual mobile as well. A lot of people, locksmiths, already have Instacode, but it might be on your computer. So if you've got to turn on your computer, light it up, wait for it to boot up, enter in your code, turn the laptop off, put it back away before you can actually cut your key. It's a bit of a time consumer. So here you look up the cheat sheet. You basically find you find your code off the door lock, you enter it in, and it gives you the information while you're reading all the other cheats along the way. So it's one app you're just reading, so you don't have to go backwards and forwards. You don't need the computer if you've got this, and you don't need that Instacode subscription. Here's all the code series which are in here, and there's quite a few. I hope Tony didn't sit down for two days at a time and enter all these in manually, because there's a lot of codes in there. But it is helpful to have this on the one app, so that's really cool. The price on it now, it is $50 a year, $5 purchase the app, which is reasonable. It's cheaper than a subscription to Instacode, I believe, because they charge monthly. So it's a one-time, $50 a year, $50 a year. And I would say for people just getting into the game, definitely a handy tool to have. Definitely something that would get you going in the right direction. The only thing I would probably ask for is just a few more steps on the programming. But I guess a lot of the programmers now are all walkthrough, like especially the Smart Pro. You got images, you got walkthrough, and little notifications on the screen. So I guess that's not even relevant. But what we do need to know about is when things go wrong, and this app seems to be able to give you those little points, and it also tells you about how to unlock the door, which is something, and also telling you about how to make a key, which is what a lot of the other apps didn't have, except for the one we looked at last time. It did help you it did tell you which door lock to pull. So it's got a lot of information. I'm just looking up VE now, and it's got all the different series that it's known as, which is handy. It's got, once again, the key information, so that's quite interesting. Transponder, yep, it's got all the information there, some notes, what to do, the antenna, OBD port location, dongle for that particular vehicle, all keys lost, onboard procedures, feedback. When all keys lost, programming a remote first. That way you can turn the alarm off, which sometimes prevents communications. Okay, see, even Tony's adding some comments to it. See, just those little comments makes a big difference. If not, you could sit there going, why can't I program, and this alarm's going off annoying all the neighbors. So little bits of information really do make a difference. Okay, and software tokens 10, key DIY. Oh, okay, that's why I was about to say AD's charging 10 tokens or something. Okay, so we've got some information on key DIY there, which is really good. It's really good to see when people add information for Chinese tools, because a lot of us are using Chinese remotes or Chinese transponders or Chinese tools to try and save $1, because, as we all know, automotive locksmithing tools and stuff can be a real money pit. You just throw a lot of money at it sometimes just to have what you need for when you need it. So yeah, plus not including all the stock and all the information. So down here, user feedback, got 3 thumbs up for that, so that's obviously good information. Locks, ignition, door, so we've got some part numbers there by Nice or Nice. They make a lot of door locks in our neck of the woods. Just a place that basically makes car locks. OBD port, there it is there. Cool, nice and easy. Notes, no notes on that. We do have a little shopping cart trolley. Oh, we have a print button up the top here too. So if you're giving this information to somebody, you can pair your phone up with your printer, print it out, give it to your locksmith. He can go out there and do it with this information there. If they have the app on the phone, they can look it up as well. Or if you're one of these people who has bad eyesight and it's a bit hard to sit there with your phone, you can print it up in a larger version so that way you can see it easier. And that print icon is active all the way through. So let's have a look and see what the shopping cart does. Being routed somewhere. The last app we looked at was joined up with a shopping cart because they were a supplier. This one here, I'm not sure if it's hooked up to a supplier of any description. We are currently performing some scheduled maintenance. Okay, well, let's have a look at the categories. Okay, batteries, car key shells. Okay, so it looks like Tony might actually have an online shop there as well to purchase some keys and remotes. And that's not a bad idea, because if you need a particular thing, it's easy sometimes just to hit buy that and those parts be on their way. And the more useful the information, the more people use the tool, the more purchases you will get. As I was saying, it's not going to be long before we're going to see apps that from people who are selling bits and pieces. And the more useful the tool, the more useful the app, the more that they'll most likely sell. And as where other suppliers that I've seen so far, especially a few of the bigger ones, they do have that as well, but their information is all about their products, and it's got nothing to do with the Chinese tools or the different area type of machines or tools. It's all about what they sell, because they want to sell more. So they'll give you all the information on how to use their tool and their tool only. But if, let's say, you're using a VVI key tool, it's got no information on that, or a handy baby, it's got no information on that. So those things are really interesting. Pincode Calculator, it would have been nice to see a few more. I'm sorry, I'm fussy, but there's only 2 there. And when I look at a few of my other code programs like Code Wizard, there's quite a few in there, but I don't know how you could integrate that into that without having some alliance with the actual people who make it. And as soon as you do that, the price is going to go skyrocketing because they want their money, and then you've got to charge your users if you want that in your system. So it's very hard to have it's very hard to have all of those code softwares in your app. So I can understand why we've got what we've got. And the key code's there as well. Very handy, but very hard to add to an app. And this app actually has all the ones that are needed by the look of it. So that is a very handy, useful tool. I mean, you could possibly get away if you were doing cars with having just this database here, just to do all your general cars, because this app is designed for the Australian market, and it seems to have all the codes for the cars that are all listed here, which is our market pretty much. Yep, it's got the code series there as well. Transponder, yes. Okay, and it's telling us here no EEPROM job. Clonable, reusable, no EEPROM job. Okay. Engine. Mobilizer separate to the ECU and is behind the drive side kick panel. If you write a virgin file to the EEPROM, 2 keys will be needed. Okay. 8-bit. So it's got EEPROMing information there, which is cool. Okay. OBD port, so no EEPROM job. Okay, what that means is that no, you can't use your plugin. No, it's an EEPROM job. You need to do it by EEPROM. That's cool. I read that wrongly the first time. We've got some information here on KD900. So that's good as well. That's a tool a lot of people use. It's a cheaper Chinese cloning type tool. What else we got here about the red LED light flashing? User feedback, the remote to use. User Camry remote. Parts. Okay, ignition switch, door switch, rear switch. Cool. OBD, nothing there because you can't really do anything by OBD. And notes. Okay, so general overlook of this particular product, extremely helpful. Good that it's integrated with people's comments. It seems to have a few things that other apps don't have, such as the database. Timer is another good one. The backup to Dropbox, I'm not sure exactly how that works. If you're backing up everything on your database, or if you're just backing up your add-ons that you've added on, such as your comments and things along those lines, or if that allows you to back up the whole app to your Dropbox and use it offline. I'm not too sure how that kind of works. You can purchase add-ons, which we did. We did the 14-day free trial. That gives me a lot to actually be able to evaluate it. And yeah, for the $50, what's $50 these days? That's a family meal at Macca's, $50. So it is worth it, and it is a lot of information. I would prefer this over some of the suppliers' information because everybody's contributing. It's giving information about multiple tools. It has a few different functions that other apps don't have, and even just that database. That database saves me having to have Instacode Live on my phone. It would be nice if they had more Pincode calculators, but unfortunately I'm just too greedy and I want everything. And pin codes are a completely new kettle of fish that are a whole new problem. I've subscribed to multiple websites to get multiple different pin numbers sometimes, and I've got dongles, a little calculator, and so that's a whole new problem. And you can't get all those things without paying the companies who make those things. So if you were to add them to it, you're going to end up having to really charge a lot more to cover that, and they probably wouldn't even give it to you, because that's something that people who sell codes and code calculators, that's their products, so they probably wouldn't want to integrate with you. Now, the other app we looked at the other day was this one here, Auto Pro app. Now that one there was going to get Instacode, but yet it's still not added to it, and a lot of things, like there was a few things there, calculator and all, it wasn't yet added to it. So comparing that app to this app here that we've just looked at, the LARA app. LARA app is better for Australian models. LARA app has more relevant information for people in Australia, and it also has the codes integrated. So it is, better for people in Australia than this app, the Auto Pro app. Auto Pro seems to be more American based. So yeah, I give it a big thumbs up. I'd be happy to use it. I'd be happy to recommend it. I'd be happy to install it in any of my staff's mobile phones, especially if I send them out there to do a job. I think it would be very helpful. So that's the first look at the LARA automotive app, and I'll try and have a look at some of the other apps that Tony's got as well, just to have a look over and just to show them. If I've left something out, or if I've called something wrong, leave it down in the description down below on the comment section. I've only just turned this on, put it on my phone, had a first look, got it working, and I'm giving a review based on that. So I haven't used this on the job. I'm just basically going over it, picking it to bits and seeing what's what and giving you my opinion about it. So just keep that in mind. So don't crucify me if I get something wrong. But I am fairly happy with it. It is a useful tool, and I can't really say anything bad about it. The only thing that didn't work was that after I'd purchased, I needed to actually reboot the app, which is just part and parcel these days. You got to reboot everything after you install anything on a Windows thing. So that's nothing to do with the app. That's just operator error or installation problem. The vehicle range on this particular application is pretty good. I mean, I can't see anything that's missing. I can see a few there of the American nature. And even some motorbikes, Ducati. So it's always good to have motorbikes, because there's not a lot of information on them getting around. Freightliner, we got a truck in here. We've got one. Well, that's cool. Is that a transponder one? No transponder. Okay. And Honda bikes as well. Hummer. So KTM. Yeah, there are quite a number of bikes in here. Opel, Nissan. Are they the same thing? Oh. Yeah, so a big range. Honestly, a big range. Like this will cover 95% at least of all the vehicles that most people get questions for. And if it's not on the list, it's one of those cars that you just don't do. Anyway, I'd give it 5 stars. It's everything I'd want out of an app. There's not too much more I could really add to it. For the price, I think it's pretty good. I mean, you got to pay something to get something. And if you want an app that's at least going to work for you, or give you some information, or give you a heads up, or you want, to use an app that's actually maintained, then somebody has to get paid, and somebody has to do all this work. And there's been a lot of work being put into this, so I think the $49 price, $49.95, is absolutely fair for a 1-year subscription. You got to remember too, $49, if you break that down into working days, divided by 40 weeks and blah blah blah. It's not much at all. $1 a week. I mean, just to have my my Smart Pro 3-month subscription, it's a fair bit. You know, if you add that up, you're up to $100 and something per week. And if you don't do a car that week, so $1 a week or less for this particular, for this particular app is fine. The amount of information in there is quite big. You can download this from the Google Play Store. If I can just show you that. Where are we? Nope, close all. Where's Google Play? Where's Google Play? Where's Google Play? There it is there. Google Play. And LARA Locksmith. That should bring it up. There it is there, first off the top. So basically, yeah, you can just download it. Let's give that a rating. Good. I know, if I leave a rating, you're all going to know my username then, so I'll have to do that later. Discard, but I will give it a 5-star rating for sure. Email address down there. If you have any questions or anything or any problems, you can contact Tony directly. Overview of it, yeah, I'm happy with it. There's been a few comments on it here. We've got one person giving it 1 star, a couple of people giving it 2 stars. This person here, let's see what they actually said, just to see if this was helpful. App once worked, had a great description for all the Lishy tools and information about each keyway, but now the app has completely blank when I tap on my tools for the vehicles. Okay, so that looks like something to do with those settings. You know how there's that big setting thing up the top? Maybe that's to do with that. Maybe there's been an update. Maybe he hasn't added his tools again. I would say that might be what it is. So that's a pretty harsh 1 star, perhaps not really a justified one, but anyway. Let's look at some of the 5 stars and see what they thought. Cool and affordable Locksmith tool app. Excellent app, I love it. Best Locksmith tool app. Works great. Only a few old review of reference, oddly enough. Okay, so that was that 1 star one. Bugs have been fixed. Yes. Initial purchase has no benefits whatsoever. I don't see how that's possible. As such, most of the risk of the upgrade, it's a money grab. I don't know, John Platt. I think you're wrong. I think the app has plenty of merit, and I think it's a good purchase for the price, overlooking it. And I don't think it's a money grab at all. In actual fact, I think it's quite cheap at what it's priced at. You're talking about information that helps you get through the day and get the job done quicker. Every time you get a job done and it's one little piece of information save you 20-30 minutes, it's worth every cent. I mean, how much you charge per hour? You charge what, $80, $100 per hour? So if it saves you 15 minutes, there's $20 saved already. You don't have to charge the customer. You're being more efficient. So no, I don't think it's a money grab at all. I think it'd save you money if you know how to use the tool properly and if you know how to read it. And I've just given you a quick look at it, and I've never used it before in my life, and I can see that it's got some merit. So disagree. There's no point in this, paid $5 and you're going to charge a subscription. Well, he gave a 14-day subscription, so I disagree with that as well. So I basically pay my $5 for the app, and then I'm using a 14-day free test of it, so they can do the same as well. Yeah, so this guy wasn't happy with the subscription thing, and I think you got to be you got to be realistic. You've got to be realistic. Somebody has to get paid. If you want an app has to be maintained. Every time they bring out a new phone, new this, new that, sometimes you're going to find a bug, and somebody has to sit down there, spend the time, recode it, put it back on the app, and make sure it's going to function properly. Sometimes bugs just happen. So yeah, no, somebody needs to be paid. Somebody needs to maintain it. It's fair to ask. So I don't know why these people have given these 1 stars. I would the app 10 for uselessness. I don't understand what they're saying. Other than it asks for a subscription fee of £30 and the Google car specs, should we call it rich? And no, I disagree. Yet again, I disagree. I think it's a good app. I'm happy to give it 5 stars, and I will shortly after making this video. And to these other people who are giving it less, I mean, if it didn't work on your particular mobile phone and things, I mean, it didn't work for me first go, but it was a simple matter of, you know, something I had to do, which was simply close the app, reopen the app. But that's nothing you can complain about, because a lot of other apps, in-depth apps, would ask you to do the same. Can't use on Samsung. 1 star. Well, I hate to tell you, I'm using a Samsung Active 7 and it's working perfectly for me. So yeah, there's always going to be somebody who whinges and complains. There's always going to be somebody who says something, or just because. I'm giving you a mark down just because. So I personally feel that it should have a better rating and review, because I found it helpful and useful and everything there. I mean, it would be nice to have I mean, the only thing I could say that, you know, maybe a little bit more on would be perhaps on that first page when you're looking at the first one here, would be to say, you know, pin code needed, can get pin code, something along those lines. So Tony, if you're listening, maybe we could just add something there to streamline it. I know on the, what was it, My Keys app or whatever it was from AD, they did streamline it there, so you could look at it very quickly and assess whether or not you could do the job by whether or not it needed a pin code, whether or not the machine will give you the pin code, or perhaps even using a third-party software to get that pin code. So I mean, a little bit more information on pin codes would really be a benefit, I think. But other than that, I couldn't ask for much more out of an app. I think it was reasonable and informative and helpful for what it is. Alright, I've waffled on enough now. Alright, leave your comments down below. Do you use this app? Have you used this app? What do you think of this app? Is it worth the money? Have you had any other problems with it? Is it something that you would install on perhaps your Locksmith staff's phone and let them use it? Or yeah, just leave your comments, tell me what you think of it. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll give it 5 stars. Being for the local market, I'm impressed with it, and I can't really see anything wrong with it. The subscription fee is more than fair. Yeah, the only thing I would like to see a little bit more is just those pin codes. Quicker information on the pin codes would really be helpful, I think. But who knows, man, this app is getting updated all the time. So, oh, look at that, they even give a picture on how to pull the ignition. That's pretty cool. Ignition out, yeah, it's awesome. Not a problem. Thanks, Tony, for this app, and thanks, Jeffrey, for letting us know about it, and Gutter Clown. I didn't know about this app at all, and now that I know about this app, I'm going to look over some of these other apps and see how they apply, how good they are, what the relevance is, and whether or not I need them or not. I know I don't need the safe one, but the job tracker one's definitely interesting. If you want to know more about these, you can find it all. Best way to do it is just to do a Google search for this guy here, Tony, and LARA, and you can find information on him. He's got his full website here, which is site.google.com/site/Tony Steward Locks / and you'll find it all there, so you can check out all that as well. So yeah, I'm going to go check out the job planner and the other one now, and leave your comment down below on what you think about this app. Thanks for watching.